Kitty wants to know more about you. What is a seemingly mundane question you can ask somebody that will tell you a lot about their personality? What's the last thing you did for the first time? Well, now I'm having an existential crisis because I can't think of anything. Don't feel bad, it's really not the right year for that question. First Christmas since I was born that I didn't spend with my parents. My father-in-law went on a job interview about 10 years ago and absolutely nailed the interview. As he was being shown around the office, a high-level person in that company, who normally wasn't there, just happened to be there that day. After they were introduced, he asked my father-in-law what kind of animal he would be. My father-in-law said he panicked and picked bear. He's a bigger guy. And the other guy said something along the lines of, that's a little too aggressive, maybe this isn't the job for you. So he didn't get the job. But I guess it worked out because he's got a pretty good job now. And if I was him, I wouldn't want to work for someone who hires people based on what animal they think they would be. The right answer was, I'd be a parasite that lives in your eye and eats away your optical nerves. Oh, you sound like you'd be good in management. One of my standard job interview questions is, tell me about something you like doing that you're good at. I don't really care what the answer is. I just want to see passion, effort, and creativity. I don't really care what the answer is. Phew. Thank God for that, 'cause my answer's going down on your mom. What would you do if you won the lottery? For me, it's a non-invasive way of listening to people's attitudes on finance in general, and also how they feel about the rich. First things first, I'm going to get a financial advisor. I'd have no idea what to do with that much money, and I don't want to end up a mess. Yes, this is a brilliant question. When I was newly dating my ex-boyfriend, it was around the time Super Lotto hit $1 billion a couple years ago. We were both in lottery ticket pools and discussed what we'd do if we won. His answer mortified me. It included how, if he were married, he'd divorce his wife and travel the world on a yacht doing drugs surrounded by hot women. Big red flag for me. Wow. Of all the things, that is definitely something you don't say to your girlfriend. The real lotto win was finding this out early in the relationship. Do you put the cart back when you're done shopping? I put my cart away. But seriously, whether someone puts their carts back really shows you what they think about rules, social norms, and whether they will follow them when someone isn't looking or judging them. It's really interesting, and it's called the shopping carts theory. Is this a real theory? Yes, it's probably as close and the safest way to observe a lawless world where people are entrusted to make good decisions on their own. There is no penalty in not putting the cart back, and there is no upside to returning it. It shows a lot about a person's morals on if they are willing to do the right thing for nothing in return. It's not a single question, but by the second or third date with a guy I would ask him to go bowling. As it turns out, there's many ways to play the game. Do they take it too seriously and get competitive or angry if they don't do well? Does he act disinterested or bored of the game? Do they try to teach me how to play, or do they just try to be goofy, have fun with it? Do they order 2 pitchers of beer and get totally smashed? In my opinion, you can learn a lot about a person by the way they approach bowling. What book would you like to live in? A really big one. Practical, I see. Did I just see you digging through the trash? I didn't know we were playing Stardew Valley. Got this one in an interview once. How do you go about eating a muffin? Learned a lot about muffin anatomy that day. It was a bakery after all. Are you in favor of homeowner associations? This is a good one because everyone who is familiar with them has such strong reactions. Yeah, I knew a guy that was a coworker in a different department. Apparently he was on the HOA board in his neighborhood and loved it. He was a total a-hole at work, so I knew that he terrorized his neighbors. Fav question I heard in an interview. What would you do if you came home and found a penguin in your freezer? It ends up not only being an icebreaker, but a good personality tell. Name him Pen Pen. I had a TA ask me in a get to know you activity what my vision was for a perfect world, and I said round lol. That would have been awkward if your TA was a flat earther. In a job interview, ask your prospective supervisor how much vacation time and sick days they took last year. This is great because both extremes take pride in their answer and so will answer honestly. The no/low vacation boss is proud of how hard she or he works, but really it's bad if they don't take time off. They are coming, and when they are sick, they are not recharging by taking vacation, and the expectation, even if unstated, is that their staff should follow that example. You'll feel guilty every time you call in sick or take vacation time. You want the boss who says I always take my vacation time and encourage my staff to as well. I called in a couple times last year when I came down with a cold. Good boss. Ask them what they like to cook for breakfast. Does coffee count as cooking breakfast? Asking for a friend. A vanilla soy latte is technically a 3-bean soup. Does Mike Wazowski blink or wink? Depends on how he's holding his mouth. You are truly one of the great thinkers of our time. What superpower they want? I love this question because this girl I knew in college had just the best answer. She said the power to fill things, and after I looked at her kind of funny, she said, you know, like filling my bank account with money, filling my belly with spaghetti, or filling my enemies' bladders with urine. What's a situation where you realized, oh shit, I'm the a-hole here? Way too many people try to give a clearly made up story, or one where they still come out as the hero somehow. A few will tell a story where they were a total jackass, but use it as an excuse to brag. It's rare you get someone who admits to a time they well and truly ducked up and were in the wrong. As a kid, what was your go-to selection from the ice cream truck? Disappointment because we were too poor to get ice cream from the truck. The cheapest thing they offered because my dad insisted on getting me something, even though I knew we couldn't really afford it, but it made him happy to get me a treat. If dogs wore pants, would they wear them on all 4 legs? Or just the back legs? My sons and I had an ongoing debate over this 5 years ago. Then we moved on to if a shark smoked, would it smoke in its gills or its mouth? Lol. Depends on whether it's addicted or just trying to look cool. Their favorite color, in so many ways. If they tell you without hesitating, it means they must have probably thought about it before, and it must be a color they really like, that makes them feel at home, or makes them happy. Whenever I meet someone, and they tell me their favorite color, it becomes a part of them to me. Where were you the night of the murder? Which one? I'm going to need you to be more specific. When I interview people, I always ask them what their favorite type of crisps, chips to you across the water are. It's a throwaway question that's just designed to help them relax a little, but over the years I've noticed that people who give me a very classic brand/flavor are very steady workers. Those that tell me they like a newer brand/flavor have been generally less reliable and prone to distraction. Snack preference profiling. Are you a snackist? Think his hiring process is weird. You should see what he does when he lays off staff. Do you install your toilet paper with the flap over or under? If they say under, they're heathens. This is one where I know I'm the outlier, but I don't understand why. I genuinely don't care. I put the roll in however it happens to be oriented. Over, under, whatever. I have no idea why this is a hill folks will die on. Asking about why something ended. Be it a past job or a relationship, you learn a lot pretty quickly about someone. IDK about this one. A-holes usually twist the story to make them look like the victim and leave out their mistakes. The way they answer it says more about their character than the actual reasons they give, I think. The level of self-awareness and tact someone shows regarding something that might not have ended well will tell you a lot about them. For instance, I'll never trust a guy who says that all of his exes are crazy, or who is unwilling to admit fault in a situation. That does make it a valuable screening tool. My girlfriend's dad always uses one interview question that makes or breaks a possible hire. Why are manhole covers round? The goal isn't to know the answer, it's to show that you are willing to critically think about a problem before you say you need help. Because pipes are round. Because people are roundish. Because circles possibly use less material than squares. Because they are super heavy, and if they are round then they can be rolled on their edge. What was the last thing you did that gave you childlike joy? My 14-year-old asked for a longboard last spring. I'd said no before, because I figured it'd be something I spend a few $100 on that she'd try once, not be good at right away, and never touch it again. It wouldn't be the first time. After being locked up for 2 months with quarantine, I figured why not? It gets her outside and maybe something she'll enjoy. At that point I just wanted to get her out of her room and off her phone. I'd never seen her work so hard at something she wasn't good at right away. After 2 back-to-back 6-hour days of practice she started to get the hang of it and asked me if I wanted try. I couldn't even stand on a board when I was a kid, but as an adult I just got it. I wasn't on it 5 minutes and I said, I need one. We left right then and picked one up for myself. We cruised all spring, summer, and fall. Not only was it great for bonding, I hadn't felt that kind of joy since I was little. A moment I'll never forget. Can't wait for the snow to melt.